Hey guys, Koichi here, and last year, I decided to pitch an idea for an animated Skylanders movie on this channel, and it was a huge hit on my channel. Sure, it didn't do Mr. Beast or Digital Circus numbers, but the video did well for my channel's standards and for itself. That's why I'm pitching an animated movie idea every year on this channel from here on out. That way, I can still fulfill my dream of making animated features in some shape or form, without rushing my broadcast to film school, and forcing my broadcast into an animation studio that is likely to reject my ideas. Anyways, for this year, I'm pitching a remake of my favorite movie for its 20th anniversary. You all know exactly what that movie is. Ever since Sleepover became my favorite film, I always dreamed of the moment that MGM acknowledged the cult following that this film gained with the treatment that other cult favorites got in recent years. However, I don't think that a legacy sequel would work, considering how many of them that failed to impress the fans of their predecessors. So, thanks to the success of this year's Mean Girls musical, I think a remake would work better, and maybe, if this were real, that would be something for MGM to build a franchise off of. But, to differentiate from that Mean Girls remake, this remake is not a musical. This remake will be animated. That is what I'm pitching right here. I think Sleepover, with its cartoony charm and tween fantasy, would work beautifully as an animated film. Let's get this pitch started.
That my best friend, she a real bad bitch, got her own money.
Since this is a remake, the main story of the originals kinda stay intact. But there should be changes made in order to cooperate with current times and differentiate from the 2004 movie, making sure this remake doesn't end up like the majority of Disney's live-action remakes. For example, most of the scavenger hunt will be the same, but instead of a school dance, the remake will have a Taylor Swift concert. Also, Steve Phillips would not appear in this remake, due to being used as just Junji's prize for the scavenger hunt, and he only served to the plot as her love interest. He is a flat character, and we need to develop other characters more, so Steve Phillips needs to go. Instead of stealing the guys' boxers, there would be an action-packed chase scene with the main girls and the patrol tech guys, with the skater boys as the former's backup. This remake will be twice as long as the live-action movie, that way the character development can take center stage in this new take on the Sleepover turned scavenger hunt that holds the creativity and originality of that film. As for the comedy and time setting, this pitch is looking towards the Mean Girls musical for guidance. This is for the remake to have a sense of relatability and relevancy. These versions of the Sleepover cast should be relatable to either younger centennials or elder Gen Alphas, just in case this remake would come out later this decade or the 2030s. This idea for the movie's writing would have some differences with the 2004 film, but the main story, the cartoony charm and the characters' personalities are just like they were 2 or 3 decades ago. This is where the source material's charm can work best. We gotta pick which art style can complement the script of a Sleepover remake in a way that would both satisfy the source material and stand out from other animated films as a whole. If this were a streaming exclusive, this remake can go for a 2D anime style that fits the tone of Sleepover. I'd suggest a style that mixes Pokémon with Sailor Moon and Yokai Watch. That art style can work best for a cartoonish tween comedy. However, if this were a wide theatrical release, we have to let this be a computer animated feature. But, I think I have a unique style of character design that's very different from other animated films. The 2D concepts that I drew for this video are the exact art style for this remake, and you will see those concepts in the next portion of the video. I think these designs would translate greatly into computer animation, if this were to be made into a real movie. But no matter which release strategy or animation medium this movie would have, there should be hand-drawn animated sequences that take place in Junji's diary. These sequences are inspired by films such as Middle School Worst Years of My Life, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and the Diary of a Wimpy Kid franchise, as they go deeper into exploring Junji's character in the first act. This whole idea of the animation is the perfect jump that the movie should take from live action to animation. When it comes to the casting choices for these characters over here, we gotta take a page from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. The adult characters can have big name celebs, while the teens should be played by actual teens. Also, there are 4 new characters in this remake, replacing some old ones from the live-action film. And there's another character that sadly couldn't be in this remake either, due to this pitch not having enough room for him. That character being the original movie's antagonist, Officer Sherman Shiner. He'll be replaced by multiple patrol tech cops for that car chase to be action-packed. Anyways, let's get to the casting.
Hey, new rule, guys. Let's be normal kids in an ordinary normal school.
He hates the beach. That's why he doesn't want to go to ditch day.
Whenever you get a part for something, you always know that they're gonna have something that is gonna stand out the most. But oh my goodness, it's scary in a good way. Like, you would never imagine this stuff ever like happening and even being created in real life. And I really hope you guys like it because it looks so good.
The softness is for you. The silkiness is for him.
That's not true.
You don't really become a woman until you go on your first date. But guys won't date you till you get your boobs. It's a vicious circle.
Well, I loved working because I'd like grown up watching all these amazing actors in this film. It was absolutely amazing to work with them, and also to work with all the kids as well, because I think I made lots of friends for life. Because I'm from Ireland, I got to fly over to England, so I've definitely made really good friends for life. But everyone was so kind to me, and they couldn't have been nicer.
If you ever want to get out of those small bras, you're gonna have to do the same exercise and technique I do. I must increase my bust. I must increase my bust.
There was a little bit of pressure, but I think the crew made us not feel the pressure. It just made us really, the crew always cheers us up, and for me, it wasn't a lot of pressure. Not at all.
So excited. This whole experience is so amazing. And I've only been to LA once before, but it was only for one day, so it's really cool to be up here for longer.
I grew up on the 2014 version, but I used all 3, the 1982 version, 1999, and the 2014 version to study off of.
Meeting Rick, I met him in my final kind of audition when they told me I got the part. I didn't know he was gonna show up. I wore my Camp Half-Blood t-shirt that I got in 3rd grade. I was freaking out. And so the second time I met him, I was a lot more calm and collected, so I could actually talk to him.
I mean, I haven't seen it when I was like really young, even though I'm still young, but since like the age of 12, pretty young, I watched it 26 times. So actually, I mean, I did Taekwondo from ages like 4 to 6 or like 6 to 7, some. I can't even remember, I was way too young. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Yeah.
But we went into the boot camp and I thought I was so prepared. I'm like, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna throw a few jabs, people are gonna be impressed. They laughed at me.
So when I got the audition, it was just like any other audition. You know, I do it good, try to get the part, things like that. And so I got the audition, and you know, I read the script, did the audition, blah blah blah. And then my mom told me, "Oh, Chase, this was a movie before, and it's a ride." So I was like, "Huh, okay." So let me do my research. So we watched the movie. We looked at the ride and all that. I had no idea, but when I got the audition and I saw like the later on when you know all the callbacks and things like that were happening, I saw who was gonna be in the movie, and I was like, oh shoot! Like these actors are literally, I've always wanted to act with them. They're legends, and so I was like, it would be so amazing if I could just have.
God, that's a relief. Holy fuck, you know what's bullshit? This whole coma narrative thing that my aunt's pushing. Allergy my ass. Oh, fuck, I remember that day. Had these god-awful period cramps. Oh. Well, okay, don't sweat it. I'll just go on my own. I'm fine.
Look at me. Looks are not important. Really look at me. I am ugly as fuck by traditional standards, but I get with women. Aren't you curious as to how that's possible? Okay, it doesn't matter if you're ugly as fuck or you're ugly as shit. It's about talking to women, and I know how to do that because I observe, because I am
Actually, I dropped out my senior year. No. But I'm not really 21, I'm 17. If you were a guy, you'd think that was cool.
But what's wrong with that word? Brad?
Oh. That's not really my logic.
June.
I can't. And I'm sorry.
Happy Casual Tuesday, Matt.
Last, but not least, we have the soundtrack. Now, the original Sleepover has songs that are very unique to the film, just like how All Star is unique to Shrek. But that was a 2000s soundtrack, so for this remake, we need something like a 2020s soundtrack. We could have 3 covers of the original movie's soundtrack performed by artists like Doja Cat, Dua Lipa, Alan Walker, Imagine Dragons, and the MacGuffin of this movie, Taylor Swift. Speaking of that concert, Taylor Swift should have a cameo in this movie and make an original song for its climax. The other songs should be a mix of 2010s and 2020s. For the original score, I think Michael Giacchino should compose this movie. He did a really good job with the mix of different music genres in Joel's World Tour, and that music works great with Sleepover. And I think that is it for my pitch for an animated remake of Sleepover. In this age of capitalizing on the cult followings of lesser-known movies, I really hope this pitch would come to me as an MGM feature in the next couple of years. Seriously, MGM is doing nothing so far for Sleepover's 20th anniversary. Since this is my favorite movie, I should be doing something for them. What do you think of the Sleepover remake pitch? Let me know in the comment section. Why won't you also like, share, and subscribe to this channel? Why not also support my new Patreon to fund future content for this channel too? It's in the link tree, and that link tree is in this video's description, so you can go to my Patreon through that link tree by clicking it so I can have the money to bring back a certain web series and make my new animated one in the future. I guarantee you will get rewards like seeing my videos the day they are finished, before they premiere on YouTube, getting a requested review done, etc. This is Koizi, signing out.